Good looking now, G.
Everybody have to tell you that it makes you beautiful. Beautiful. Everybody have to tell you that God makes you beautiful. Beautiful.
Hey there, excuse me, miss. No disrespect, you're very precious.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Hype. On today's show, we'll be talking about sex. Sex is in our music, it's in social media, and all of our advertisements. It's everywhere. We want to know from you and our audience about how we really use sex to make decisions. What do we really know about sex? And how do we realize sex is more than just sex? You can stay tuned and participate in our conversation today. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Philly Hype TV Show and on Twitter at The Hype TV Show. Make sure you hashtag Hype on Sex. Stay tuned, we'll get Hype on Sex right after this.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Son, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Hey, this is Jennifer Hudson, and you're watching The Hype.
TV for, by, and about young women.
Yeah, I like interacting with the cast and answering the questions.
Yes, I did.
And what were your favorite parts about it?
About the body image, because it like most teenage females, they want to like be like every celebrity out there. So it's like it made everybody realize that just love yourself.
Yeah, like
what were your favorite topics?
my favorite topic was the body image.
And why?
Cause I'm insecure in myself about certain things, and sometimes like I look outside the box and really appreciate myself for who I am.
So what did you think about the show today?
It was very interesting, and the topics and it's like a new thing because I never really been to like a TV show before. So it was good.
Yeah, the show was really good.
Okay, and what did you like about it?
I like the names part. It was really informational how it can be hurtful and positive and saying
Yes. And what did you like? I like that it was like energetic and like it really like have like a lot of opinions about things that's happening. For example, like you have some people like they look on both sides of the story, like both opinions on different people, like people who like it, or people who don't like it. And I think that's nice for a lot of people who are watching it.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined by my co-host Blush and our special guest host Devin Weekly. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Yes. So let's talk about sex,
baby.
Yes. Okay. So we I feel like in a lot of our shows that we've been doing recently, sex has an undertone in everything that we've been doing, dating and relationships. It's kind of something that's kind of synonymous. That's between everyone, that whether you do it or don't, it's involved in some type of interaction, whether you want to or you don't. I think about it like, look at how within our music, you hear it, you see it in our advertisements and in the media in different ways. It's just, you can't really escape it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Even in TV shows.
TV shows.
Empire.
Do you remember TV, like you barely saw any like back. Right. Now you can see boobs, you can see butt cheeks.
You can see actual sex scenes.
You can see actual sex scenes.
Daytime.
Yeah, that's daytime TV.
Right.
Hello.
Right.
I remember when they didn't cuss on the radio. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I think sex and just things that people would think at some point wouldn't be so prevalent. It's absolutely everywhere. And I don't think we can get away from that either. I don't know if our country is any different than other countries, but I don't think we're gonna see that back up at all. I think it's gonna continue.
Yeah. So thinking about sex, and I'm interested, we'll definitely talk to the audience today, like when it comes to sex, how does that, sex versus intimacy when it comes to relationship, is that something that's coming up? So my question to the audience today is, for sex, how important is sex in your lives right now? Or maybe not specifically for you, but for your peers. How important is sex right now?
For some people that I know, it's like it's an essential thing for them. Like it is, they gotta have it. I don't know, in their relationships, or even if it's like a one-stop shot with a one-night stand. Mm-hmm. But I guess I would say that's in some people, and then in some relationships it can be essential, and then it can not be essential. I guess it all depends. I guess for our day and age. Mm-hmm. And I guess anybody else want to add to that?
I would say that sex is important. I mean, but it's not a deal breaker, because I feel like with sex, depending on your age or how long you've been with a person, you can learn that person, or you can learn how to get better or how to move this way or that way. But it doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, that was just horrible, because not everybody starts off a pro, or not everything is for everybody. So sex is not essential, but there is needed. People do have needs.
Okay. So for sex, just thinking about it, is sex seen as something serious? I know when it comes to sex, it may be seen as more casual and something, I guess, more expected, but I know at least for some of, like we've been talking backstage, it's something that's held more seriously as something that you're in a committed relationship. For some people, it's like when you're married. Does that still apply, or is it just something like always something that you do?
Well, these days and times, I feel like sex is just out there, period, point blank.
Okay.
It's just something that people do, because like even in all of the music that people hear, like rap music and all of that type of music, that's the main topic. Mm-hmm. It's not about anything, because it's not really it's not really telling anybody nothing. Like people try to explain their life story or tell what they did to get where they are now, but why is sex in that? Why is sex even in there? Period, point blank. Mm-hmm. So I think that sex is just something that people do these days and times.
I actually think I agree with him. I think the issue that I see with a lot of people in sex, At first, my personal philosophy, I don't believe in detached sex. I think people do exactly what he's suggesting that they do. They're just having sex just because it's so prevalent. People think that if they aren't having sex, something is wrong with them. And as a result of that, some people are just having sex just because it's available. And when you aren't connected with someone, I don't necessarily know, even as a Christian, I know some people are going to say, well, how can you say this? But I'm not sure if I totally subscribe to the whole idea that you have to be married. But I certainly do not believe in detached sex. I believe sex is supposed to occur within the confines of a relationship with two people who care about each other. But when you're having detached sex, I think you just wind up just doing something just to do something. And that's how you can be okay with it, frankly, being used to advertise everything from cars to shoes, because it is meaningless. It's just something to do. When you take it out of that particular context, it just becomes, physical activity that you tend to enjoy a little bit more than you do running, So I kind of think of it that way.
I agree, Blush. I think it's more recreational since it's been taken out of the context and it's been used to advertise. And, you would think if you are in that field, you would be more creative than to just find, okay, well, let's just put two people having sex to advertise this beverage. If it's everywhere, it's kind of like a subliminal. It's in the back of your head, so it's kind of hard to get around it if it's so popular in society.
I think they play on the fact that sex is desirable. I mean, I know that there are some people in the world, for whatever reason, who perhaps may not enjoy sex, but I think it's just a play on people's carnal desires in terms of, she mentioned needs. I don't know if I believe sex is a bona fide need. I know a lot of people like it, but I don't know if I would even call it a need. But if you make it so normal that people think it is a need, then you can play into that. And you can sell lots of alcohol and whatever it is that you're selling with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, how do you get past that, or even if people care about getting past that kind of perspective on sex.
My next question though is too, so when thinking about sex, is there an appropriate time or appropriate age that it should be engaged in? Thinking about whether it's detached or not, what comes with it, what doesn't, because let's face it, we're in a society we're 2015, there's over 25 different STDs that's out there. Some of them are curable, some of them aren't. There's a lot more than just the act that's associated with it. So I'm gonna ask my audience, what do you think there's an appropriate age to engage in sex? And if so, what should be the conditions before you know you're ready?
Yes, I think it is an appropriate age for you to have sex. I think if you say 12 to 15, you don't really know what sex is. You don't know what it can really do, the consequences behind it. So it's crazy when you think about it. It's a lot when it comes to sex. It's a lot you gotta think about, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it.
So 16 and up is okay?
Yes. I say 16 and up because at that point, you should be in high school and they should be teaching you about it in health class and stuff like that. You should be learning more about sex. And at that age, it's time, I think it's time to start talking about mom, because, talking to mom about it and talking to dad about it, because at that age, you is going to parties. You do see a lot of females, and at that age for a boy, I think you're going through puberty. So, yeah, 16 and up.
Okay.
Well, when he talks about 16 and up, I don't really think like that, because when I was in 7th grade and then you turn 13, and then that's when you start going through changes. That's when you start thinking, then that's when you feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm a man, so I can have sex right now, because a lot of people doing it, so why not?
Okay. Well, stay tuned. We'll ask some of the ladies in the audience about how they feel. So stay tuned. We'll get hype on sex right after this.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
I've seen the glory, 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 hallelujah.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Thank you, dear. Oh, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women.
Welcome back. Now, if you're tuning in at home, school, or wherever, you can join the discussion by posting your comments with the hashtag #HypeOnSex. So our Twitter followers have commented. So Beauty Defines You says, to our question, what I wish I knew about sex. I wish I knew what soul ties were. So this kind of gets into what we were saying, thinking about sex being more than just that. So what I wish I knew about sex. And right before we went to commercial break, we were kind of discussing with our youth here in the audience, what is an appropriate age for you to have sex? And if so, what conditions should that sexual encounter be? So with some of our ladies in the audience.
Well, I think you shouldn't start having sex until you're 18 or older.
Okay.
Cause you legal and you're an adult. You could do whatever you want. You make your own decisions. And 17 and younger, you still in the teen/child age where you need to live life and know what you want to do and make bigger and better decisions for yourself. But once you hit 18 and older, basically you start to vote. You start to do anything you want. So it's mainly your decision. Nobody can stop you.
Okay.
I would say there is not an appropriate age, but 18 is where I think you should start thinking about having sex. But as far as a condition on the sex, you would want to think about the person that you're having sex with. Are they a clean person? Are you a clean person? Because if you're not, clean or you don't have good hygiene, then maybe you shouldn't be having sex regardless if you're 18, 20, or 40. You need to make sure that you're okay first. And then they're okay, and then you and that person can maybe go down to the health center together and get tested, and then maybe have sex, and then maybe even a step further than that. What if you take all the precautions to make sure you don't have a baby, or if let's just say the condom pops, are you capable or responsible enough to deal with the consequences of that condom popping? So I would say the condition would be, are you and that person at the appropriate age? Are you and that person have good hygiene? Do you and that person have a backup steps? So if those three things are in check, then maybe you shouldn't be having sex no matter what your age is.
Okay, and by clean you mean, are you specifically talking about just hygiene or also knowing your STD status?
I would say knowing your STD status, but yeah, know your STD status and hygiene together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think, though, when she talked about consequences, I think that ties into the Twitter person's comment. I think the emotional connection, some people call them soul ties, some people call them emotional connections. I think that is actually one of the consequences, too. I personally think that when you are sexually active on a consistent basis, I do think that there's something that happens to you, and people tend to say it's more women than men. I tend to think that's just whatever. I dismiss it. I think that's garbage. I think no matter who you are, if you are regularly engaging in sex with someone, I think that there's something that happens between you two where you two have more of a bond with each other. Think about the guy and the girl that you know, they love to hate each other. They can't get along for the life of each other, but they keep coming back. And I think part of that is, I think sex is intended to make you feel connected, and it creates a bond between the two of you, even if you hate each other, even if you get to a point where you resent each other. I think part of the consequence of sex, frankly, is this emotional bond. And I think the other part of the question you should ask yourself before you start to have sex in general, not just with one person in particular, but when you are considering the person you might share your body with, have you gotten to know this person well enough so that you think that they will cherish who you are as a person and to cherish your heart and who you are, and not simply exploit your body without caring about your heart? I think that when you're looking at whether or not he has a job or whatever else he has going on, does that person have the capacity to love you? Have they already treated you as though they love and respect you? Or are you just doing something because everybody else is doing it? And I think that is a real consequence. I mean, you're sitting around when it's over, broke up, crying and devastated. That's a consequence. And I think people ignore that.
And I think, like you said, the act itself, people just see it as an act, but not the other things that come with it, the emotional attachment to it. So we're talking about a lot of sex that doesn't have any meaning, but it really is more than that, because like you said, it's that connection and that you're having with that person. You need to be selective with who you want to connect with, and kind of be mindful, if in fact, like our audience member mentioned, if something happens, do I want to be tied to this person for my whole entire life? For at least 18 years, possibly 21 if they go to college and then some? Do I really trust and know this person, that they even care about me? Are they really telling me the truth? Do I really trust them? And if you can't even feel like you can answer any of those questions, why engage in the act for the sake of it feels good?
And that's probably why it's become so recreational, because people are looking for artificial bonds, or they're looking for attention, and instead of going and finding attention in a more positive manner, they use their bodies, which is more, I guess I would say, easy to do, to just have sex with someone and form an artificial bond with them and feel like, oh, well, they love me now. Maybe it's because they are looking for love in the wrong place.
And the love can really be less in that haze that happens when people engage in that act, because that can easily be mistaken as well. I think sometimes, not to even say this male or females, but they consider the act that there's love or passion behind it. But they're really, if it's not done in the right context, especially for me specifically, I'm speaking not in a marriage, or you're planning to be with this person for a very long time. If it's not thought of in that way, it could have a lot of different connotations. I think someone in the audience had a comment.
The only thing I really can say, I agree with both of them said, especially the drawback to the appropriate age, and then the whole Twitter comment having a soul ties, because I know somebody once told me about a soul tie, and then when I thought about it, I'm like, well, that's crazy, it's amazing, because now I think about it, because when we broke up or something happened, I'm crying, I'm all broke up, not just because we broke up, but because I laid down with this person. So it was just like, it is kind of it's a hurt piece, I'm gonna say, it hurts. So then you think about it, so then it's like, okay, are you ready for all the consequences and things that come behind it? And I totally agree with what you guys are saying. It's a process. Sex is a process. And it shouldn't be that long.
It is a process, and it's something serious that is as recreational as it's being said. There's seriousness that's attached to it. And I think also too, kind of to switch gears a little bit, the whole double standard when it comes to males versus females, when it comes to just sex in general, we're expected to be all pure, everything, no body counts, low body counts, while a man it's okay for him to be promiscuous and have multiple partners and do different things. But for females, it's different. Audience, how has that played out for you all?
For males, it's like you said, it's okay. But for females, a female shouldn't have a high body count, period, point blank, because females, they just different from males. And then females, they start to they start to get real emotional. Like, since you now, if a female did have a high body count, now you got people talking about you. You don't like it, but you made this choice, and now it's all on you. Like, that's your problem, not nobody else's. And you the one that decided, okay, well, you want to have a high body count, you want to have sex with all these people. That's your fault, and it's probably gonna come back. It's gonna come back to bite you.
So my question to you: so it's okay for you to have a high body count versus her?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to say something.
Yes.
STDs are not, they don't discriminate. So for health reasons, the less male body counts that you have, the less chances you have of contracting an STD. So whether it be a male or female, if you lessen your sexual partners, you lessen your chances of contracting an STD.
Yes, and we'll get more to that right after this.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation. You're resigning. Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
La gente cree que soy basura, pero están equivocados. Hoy soy una lata de aluminio, pero algún día podría ser un estadio.
Thank you for joining us at the Hype. The majority does not rule, and this show creates awareness on who we are as a culture in the Black community, and show your support and come out. My name is David McDaniel from Camden, New Jersey, and we're watching the Hype.
We would like to thank our special guest host, Devin Weekly, for joining us today. If you'd like to be in the audience, be a guest host, or submit original music, you can visit us at thehypetvshow.com. And for myself, Blush, and the whole Hype team, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You're very precious. Please tell me what's your name. You're a precious gem and God's to blame. No, I'm not trying to spit game, cause it's your soul I'm trying to claim. You probably never heard of this. A love affair without a kiss. All the diamonds in the world could never amount to your vow.